And
Hang on. Hey, there we are. There's the whole gang. Hey, I'm Steve, and that's Iggy, and this is the
hey, what's up,
Deployed
yo?
from Detroit School of Leadership and Madness. I gotta hide this here. Beep. So, what's happening, buddy? How's your plague going for you, or pandemic, or whatever the term is we're using today?
Well, much like you, I don't really go anywhere, so just
Kind of same old, same old. Yeah,
took the dog for a walk, and that was it.
I haven't gone out for a walk yet, but it's been kind of rainy and miserable and crummy and
Yeah.
other adjectives that bum me out. But it should perk up eventually at some point.
Yeah.
Uh, so, in the news, it's kind of hard to avoid the corona thing, obviously. Um, so, our thoughts on, I don't know, we just kind of want to like back and forth on some of the things, because yeah, this is easy for us on a few ways because recently we're shut-ins, so being an indoor cat is not a problem. Um, but also, like, this is something that like most veterans have encountered to a degree or another. This is just a matter of stretching out. This is much longer than we ever encountered in what we were up to, especially in training, because you just do it for at the most like 8 9 hours, something like that. Um, but then you gotta eat, you gotta smoke, you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, but it's all about overcoming that boredom, overcoming claustrophobia. Um, if you've got any kind of mental health issues that put delightfully unpleasant thoughts in your head, they're probably
Yep, it's done.
they're probably going pretty good today. Um, and it's not that it's going to get worse. I can assure you, it's just going to keep doing this. But this gets grating after a while. So we wanted to just talk about uh, just accidental techniques we sort of came across as we were coming up and going out and deploying and doing our thing. But then also there's some stuff that we were trained on rather specifically about this that we could probably share with some confidence. Um, I think the general one, like what surprised me the most when we were doing um, chemical training and stuff like that, um, is how easy it really is in principle. Like, it's a deadly scenario. If you screw it up, you're in trouble, but prevention is relatively easy.
You are speaking cryptically. What the hell are you saying?
I'm saying, like, it's just a matter of putting a couple layers of plastic on, or you wear a mask. Like,
Oh
you
yeah,
you not getting this plague is not impossible. Plague, gee, I'll use better words, I guess. But this virus is preventable, 100%. 100% is not the right way, but like,
that would be a plague if we weren't in this day and age.
for sure. There's this thing's got currently it's at like 18% mortality rate. Everybody was hemming and hawing about the Spanish flu, and they're like, "Ah, oh, Spanish flu, Spanish flu." That was a 2.5%, and so far this thing's at an 18%. So that's pretty
Yeah.
aggressive. Those numbers might stem down as more people get better, but the current rate is 18%. So watch your ass. But because like I remember when I was training for chemical what's the right word, contaminated remains, when I was doing mortuary stuff. And so the idea of it was basically a lot like picking up dog poop. Like, you take a big
Yeah.
plastic thing and then you put it over top of them, and then you kind of scoop it under a little bit, and then for us we'd roll it up and then put them in the bag and then roll that bag up, and then just like layers and layers of bags until we're pretty sure nothing's coming out, and then we're good. But then the basic stuff too, like, oh, we're just walking around this contaminated area. What do we do? Oh, you just wash your boots with a little bit of soap here. Really? Yeah, yeah. Just a little bit of soap on your boots. There's a little bucket here.
Bleach.
You stand in that,
5%
splash.
bleach solution.
5% bleach solution.
Yep.
And then they're saying alcohol. I forget what the mix is. You gotta look that one up with the because they're saying a bleach and alcohol solution. But I mean, that's something you could do if you're paranoid about this, or if you have good reason to be concerned about. If you like to wear your shoes in the house, maybe this is an option. Just have a little swishy bucket to stand in, and you know, run some bleach and
Well,
alcohol. Cause
when I went to chem school,
go for it,
they
bud.
said a 5% water and bleach solution, or 5% bleach solution in water rather, is enough to kill most biological and chemical weapons. So
Well,
I
most is
mean,
good then, because this thing is pretty easy to kill. It's
it is like 130 degrees. If you get over that, it's dead.
yeah, and it's just like a really flimsy fat cell. Like this thing's only advantage is its reproductive speed, and then it's sort of like what it does when it gets in numbers. Um, but for the most part, it's structurally very weak. That's why they're saying, soap and water's better than using the hand sanitizer, because we all got hand sanitizer lying around, and it's wonderful. It's a delightful thing, but a lot of us don't know how to use it correctly, and so we negate using it whatsoever. But just good old, because if you don't here, oh, here's a little squirt, and here's me rubbing my hands and putting my goop on. Goop, goop, goop. So what? I don't. If you read the side, or if somebody ever told you, once you get it on there, it's still supposed to be kind of wet, and then you don't wipe it off on your shirt or whatever. You're supposed to let it dry, because the that alcohol evaporating process, that's also killing stuff. And so you want to let the hand sanitizer evaporate. So don't wipe it off or whatever. Um, but washing your hands is better, because even though I've killed everything on my hands, it's still
Well,
on my hands.
show them the numbers. That'll mean more.
Yeah.
And
Well,
here's how to wash your hands. I
we
mean,
can we
not to be a
can
dick.
tell you how serious to be, but like these are. So let me switch screens here, and let's look at. But in being serious about it, you don't have to be scared. Because that was the other interesting thing that, because it was basically Iggy who kind of taught me this. It was his job in the wing to teach us this, that, like, you for sure don't have to be scared. I mean, you should have a healthy fear and respect of this disease and of nerve agents and blood agents and all kinds of crazy madness and radiation. But like, it's kind of easy to get through once you just,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
do the little basic steps.
Well, in my tech school, they suited us up in all the chemical gear at that time. um, from everything, from your socks and underwear all the way to everything. They supplied you with everything. So you went in, and then they released real sarin gas, the
Ooh.
real the real shit. It was, and this is in Missouri. All the branches for chemical training go there. It used to be in Alabama, I think, but now it's there. But anyway, so then they put real VX. You got to decontaminate real VX. They put it on an M16, and then you got to decontaminate it, and then you got to use like the atropine on dummies, and then they release something else. And then you get rid of everything. So I mean, we learned to trust our equipment, and with that trust comes ease. Okay, I can do my job because I can trust my equipment, so I don't have to worry I'm going to die every second.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go out and buy mask, but I'm saying take a second, think, do I need this much fucking toilet paper? No, because I need to wipe my ass too.
Right. Yeah.
No,
Like, if
do I
you're going to
need
take
this?
steps, be confident in the steps you take. And be
Right.
confident that you've taken steps. So if you're washing your hand to a degree that makes you feel safe, then game on. You're doing likely pretty good. If you're touching something, like, almost think of it as, because like in a kitchen, we have to wash our hands constantly, because we're touching raw meats and raw, you name it, and food poisoning will just, well, it's not great for reviews, but on the other hand, it also destroys and kills people. So that's not fun either. Um, and we're constantly sort of aware of the fact that, like, these little things could be agents of death if, you just have to understand when it's important and when it's not. So, if you're good about not touching your face,
Well,
then
there's three ways to get
yeah.
anything. It's inhalation, ingestion, and absorption.
So inhalation, you breathe it in,
Ingestion, touch your mouth, face, or whatever.
put it in a
In your
hole, and then absorption is,
just getting it, soaking it up through your skin.
like nicotine can do, and
Yeah.
certain drugs can get in through your skin. Well, this one can't get in through your skin, so that's good. This one's
Yeah.
just I don't think it's like just, it's not so much a big deal if you eat it. Like, I mean, you don't want to be eating stuff that somebody's coughing on, but it's an inhalation thing because it likes to hang out in the throat and then move to the lungs. So it's a big
So we should call it the Marlboro disease.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's going to give a lot of people that Marlboro Man lung of just shredded cabbage.
Yeah.
Though some of the X-rays are gnarly. It is Yeah, I don't want it. I sure as shit don't want
Well,
it.
when this first came out, I'm like, I don't know. It sounds like it's just like the flu, and then started gaining a little momentum, and it started gaining a little more, and then I see people, and obviously they aren't in the military, they don't know what lockdown is like. Like, this is not lockdown, but now it's kind of lockdown.
But it's mostly voluntary, which is cool. It's
Yeah.
self-directed because I think people are realizing that we need some leadership from the bottom up these days, and so we kind of have to be the examples ourselves, which is how
On
a
Facebook, I
democracy needs to
posted
function.
a turkey came by right through my yard. I've never ever seen a turkey in my yard or anywhere close to where I live.
Oh yeah,
Everybody must be staying in because they're skittish as what.
yeah.
So
This thing's doing a number on the environment, like in a good way. Like this might be the thing that sets the clock back because what was we need to intervene within 12 years, otherwise it's really going to hit the fan. I mean, maybe this is an intervention.
population density.
No, not even population. It's just um the rate of warming. Like,
Oh, global warming.
yeah, it just keeps going up a degree or two every year, which is not great. Because that means in 100 years it's 100 degrees.
Yeah.
And then we all die. But maybe this
We
will.
will all be the same color. Then there will be no racism for approximately 2 minutes.
Ain't that the truth?
We will all be charred and smoking and bloody.
I'm trying to write this story. I've been trying to write it for ages, and I know all the way through, and it's just, well, you know how I talk, so.
The lovely lady with
No.
3 kids of her own.
Oh, come on. What was it? Oh, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what would the races be in the future, or, like, would that matter or not, or. And I'm like, people are assholes, so I think it.
No, I think in the future it'll just be economic status because that's where everything's going.
Right. Because I was considering calling my character an ethnic liberal, and then like trying to determine what an ethnic liberal might be, because there's like ethnic groups in Central Asia that are essentially the same ethnic group. It just so happens that a few generations back, one of them picked Islam, one of them picked Eastern Orthodox, or like whatever the hell went on, and then all of a sudden they became two ethnicities out of that. Um, and I bet stuff, and like you're saying too, like social class, like the reason racism is so handy in America is because like it used to be an easy way to spot a poor person, and it's still, for the most part, not going to hurt you, but like, that's why people liked it really, is because we want to know where the
No, that's why white people liked it.
right. Well, yes, not we.
The other races did not like it.
Most of the planet was pretty bummed with that decision on the white man's part to go that route.
Yeah.
Sorry, Floyd. We suck most of the time. But some of us are pretty rad. Have you guys heard Metallica? That shit's awesome.
To the song Disposable Heroes.
So I got a question for you. So I've got one of these masks here. Because I'm not a prepper, but like I just don't like to be caught.
That's an industrial mask. That's an industrial.
But it has biological vapor filters on it.
Are they up to date?
As of last month, so probably like I'm kind of going on a wing and a prayer here if they're still stretching, but like I haven't been out of the house with.
Oh, that's another thing. If you buy these masks, don't open the filters until something happens.
Yeah, until you need it. I had these on because I was painting, and I used this
You got
one
that
as my
little paint
airbrush. Well, I got one now, so I'm good there. But and then
No, as long as you got the right filters.
well, and the
But-
problem too is like I've got this underscruff, and like the reason they make you shave in the military is because you want this thing to seal to your face.
We had that. There was a contractor that was heading to the desert. He had a beard.
Yeah.
And he'd come to us for his chem gear. And we're like, you got to shave because we got to fit you with a mask. He's like, I'm not shaving. We're like, you're going to die if something happens over there. Is your beard worth that? He goes, I'm not shaving. I said, well, then I'm not giving you anything because you're going to die and it's a waste. So he went back to his commander and I got in trouble.
Fuck him. He should have shaved. Because that stuff's going to just sit in his beard.
Maybe he had some serious acne, pock marks or something. Maybe
Don't care.
He had something.
It's better to have a mask seal than a self-confidence issue.
I agree, but people here, you need to wash your hands, and they went and bought toilet paper.
Yeah.
We're not shaking assholes here.
It is kind of crazy.
Maybe there's some, I don't know. There's a kink for everything. Don't show me that if you know if there is one.
Let me go over to the streaming thing here. I don't know if...
No, but I mean, I think people don't know how long this is going to go on, and Trump is saying we want to end this by Easter, which I get trying to end it, but then no, because it's not gone yet. You go back to work when it's gone.
Right. It's not anything that we
not
get
like, it's not so bad now. Go back to work, and then we'll fuck with you and say three more weeks off because you didn't get it right the first time and came back to work.
Right. It's the economy can be recovered. That's something we've done a ton of times before. The
Well, this is
population,
just making people realize they don't need the government for most things.
quite true. Quite true. But what
And
we do
the
need them
government is
for,
like, no, we must have our money, so we have our yachts and strippers and cocaine in the nose.
I don't understand that flow issue of material getting from the Federal Reserve stockpile. No, not Federal Reserve. What's it called? The strategic something something something. We're supposed to have a strategic medical supply somewhere, and it was supposed to have all the shit they needed for stuff like this, and then it just didn't. They had like, I don't know, a bunch of aspirin or whatever, but no, like, and the crazy, like, okay, so here's what's been frustrating me about this whole thing is I've been watching a lot of interview shows and media outlets, and I'm trying to keep abreast of what's going on, and I hear so many people say, well, we couldn't know. How could we know? How could we know? Nobody could have saw this coming. And it's like, yeah, everybody's not
Yeah,
everybody.
history, the Black Plague.
Yeah, these happen all the time. This isn't welcome to Earth, but this shit happens a lot, folks.
And you know why the Black Plague happened? Because people didn't wash their fucking bodies.
Yeah, it's because they went on a cruise. No, that's not true. Kinda though.
Ooh,
It started from
yeah, that would suck, wouldn't it? Being stuck on them boats. Fuck that.
dude. My folks they're like, oh, we're going on a riverboat cruise in not like some hee-haw riverboat cruise, but like one of those fancy Viking ones where they go through like Budapest and drink wine.
Oh,
But that shit got canceled for sure.
yeah.
So, but I was sitting there talking to him like, I can't. I get that cruises are definitely a thing for some people, the way that like Burning Man is a thing for some people, or like there's just some shit that I'm never gonna understand, and cruises are definitely one of them. And
Yeah,
then
no, I don't get it either. I mean, if it was a fast boat that would get you from island to island, I mean, not fast. It doesn't have to be fast, but faster than a cruise ship, I would assume.
right, if
So I
because
could go island hopping. That's cool, but I don't want to spend a vacation on a boat.
right, because like your first stop is nice, and then you go to the tourist town that was built by the company for the boats, and employs people to pretend that like they're having a good life. Meanwhile, behind the stage is like the apocalypse, and then
Yeah.
you have diarrhea for the rest of the trip, and then you go home, and that was $10,000 or something. Fuck that, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'd rather just get a dinghy and zip around myself or something.
My wife and I talked about, like the Alaska one where you can see the whales and stuff like that.
Like at the end of
And,
Wyatt Earp.
but I don't know if I'd want to be out in that fucking, cold on
Yeah,
a cruise on a vacation.
remember that
Maybe a one
iceberg?
day, 2 day deal.
That
1 day,
iceberg
2 day deal,
situation.
and then I'm heading back in, man. Listen, I saw a cool whale. Now let's go in a hot tub.
Yeah, yeah. And
No, but I
because
mean,
well, there's
for
that
people
boat.
fighting boredom,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were stages, and the military is smart about what happens. They know the stages of deployment, so they're like, okay, it's been 2 weeks, so we're at this stage where people are going to start missing their families, and then, and this was, well, in 2008 and 2006 when I went to Iraq, they didn't have this, but 2015 they had it, so they know when we're gonna hit rock bottom. They know when we're coming up from it. They know, because of history,
Mm-hmm.
and we all got through it. They go, oh, it's coming. Everybody's gonna be pissed off this week. I'm like, why? They go, the schedule. It's gonna happen. It happens on every
Yeah.
deployment. And it's true. Everybody walks around fucking pissed off. Hi, morning. Oh, if you get a morning person, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is, so in every one of those situations, you're putting not the same components but similar components into the same environment, so you're going to get the same results quite often. And like that's where that kind of comes in, where it repeats itself. But then there's also certain things that come to a person biologically as they are separated from other people more and more, or if they're in a smaller group more and more. Because things in your body try to like do you a favor and go, okay, so we do this now, and then
Yeah.
lock you into stuff.
But I mean, if I think people are afraid to spend a little bit of money, because they're like, well, this might be over quick, and I don't want to. If it's like a hobby, if it's like you like those Warhammer things, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
I've been playing
I wish
Warhammer
I could
recently.
paint like that. I'm gonna try it one day. But anyway,
Dude, it's
you
fun.
like that,
I do. Pretty cool.
I like gaming. So go out and spend $400 or 300. Wait, most of them are like 150, 200 now because the new ones are coming out next, or actually this coming Christmas. But
Oh, the
anyway,
like new Xbox and PlayStation and all
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So the old ones are cheap.
Yeah, or get like a
Um,
Wii or a Nintendo 64 or
or we used to do stupid stuff like make everybody wear have stupid ugly Christmas sweater day.
oh,
Or
outfit days. If you're in with your family or you're in
yeah,
with a spouse or something, like wearing silly hats, wearing costumes, like theme days, like today's Star Wars Day. And you don't have to go all out, but you can
right.
like just have Star Wars socks on, or you can just have, whatever. But like that's something because it's you. It allows you to still maintain what you need, which is you staying put and washing your hands regularly and making sure you're not shoving germs into your holes. But then there's a little something extra on top. And so you're not taking away from your current mission of protecting America by staying home. And
Mhm.
you're still getting away with something that's kind of a good time. And it's goofy. And you can kind of go all out with it too because.
Well, like I was just thinking, like with the little kids, to teach them how to wash their hands for a right amount of time, like get the egg timer, or like somebody has to wash their hands, go, oh, set the timer, and then they'll wash it, or sing a song. Go, you got to sing this song, and after the song's done, then you're good.
So
You know,
here's another one too. And because the virus is fat based, it's a little bit helpful. It's not going to do it all the way, but put peanut butter on their hand, like maybe all over if you want to get a point really across. But like, just put a spot of peanut butter on there, and then just make sure they wash their hands until that peanut butter's gone all the way, and then and just make the point that like this germ is made out of really tiny peanut butters, so you got to wash it just as much as you did this time,
no, that's cool.
every time, and then sometimes that makes kind of an aha moment kick in for people. They go, oh, okay.
Right.
Um, so maybe just put a little boop boop. No, clean it off, and well, I won't re-explain it, but you get
Yeah,
it.
yeah, but different things, like teach your kids how to say pig Latin, or
Yeah.
um, roll your pants. Well, you wouldn't know about this, but roll your pants like in the '80s, the older parent, because like all of us wear these like Hugh Hefner comfortable, flannel pants in the winter and stuff like that, sleep pants. Sometimes they're long, so
Yeah, yeah.
I use the '80s thing and I roll the bottom of the pants, and then
Oh,
it's used.
like
So I don't get them all
90210.
wet or trashed
Yeah,
because kids now trash in my pants, I guess, do it too. That's a style. Get them trashed in the back.
yeah. The my brain's just stopped working. What's happening? Where are we? Who am I? Oh, I'm back. I forgot what we were saying now.
Something completely different.
On to something completely. So, yeah. Oh, we were talking about teaching people in the set because, I mean, this would be a great time to break out your record collection and sit down with your kids and say, "This is the album that got me through 8th grade," or "This is the album that got me like." When I grew up, I had the best collection because it was like Kiss and Alice Cooper and Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Elton John and
I collected the cassettes. Well, actually, I was old enough to have 8 tracks and records.
hey now.
And then I started really getting heavy collecting for tapes. And then they went to CDs, and I was pissed. So now I had to buy everything over.
Until the age of burning.
Yeah, until the age of burning them. I'm like, I can have all the music.
And then another thing too is Audible's out there, and there's like Scribd, and there's all kinds of places to get books and audiobooks and this, that, and the other. But local libraries have a ton of online sources. Like you can stream audiobooks from them. They'll give you like a key code, and you gotta like go check out your local township or city or municipality, wherever you're
They
in.
still do. They still do DVDs.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
my wife, like
But
there's a sheet that they pull from like libraries from like, geez, oh Pete, it looks like 30 on the sheet, at least. So
Yeah, get with your local library and see if they're operating during this time period and what they can provide. And they may have just a lot of online stuff you can get a hold of without having to bother anybody. But get you some books, start reading, show people your favorite books, teach them. I always get a kick out of
Teach them how to do a slip knot. Everybody should know how to do a slip knot.
the band or oh no, an actual Slipknot. Oh, well, unless you're isolating by yourself, then we'll teach you some.
That's why you need to know a slip knot.
How dare ye? And if you need help, you can call the Veterans Crisis Line at. Oh, I don't know
I
where that
do
number
because I
is.
care.
The I should. You know what? Actually, while I'm on it, oh, I'm staring at the internet. I am such a buffoon sometimes, folks. I'm
All
trying to
right,
find a
so
thing.
I'm gonna come out to this right now.
You do
You don't
that.
even know this.
Okay.
This is deployed from Detroit, exclusive. I'm almost finished watching Grey's Anatomy. It's fucking awesome.
What's that about? Is it about the guy who drew that book?
What, Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
No, it's like a modern day ER or House. Well, I
Oh.
mean, they're on their 16th season, so it's been around a while.
I haven't
But
watched any of those shows.
no, my daughter, she says, "Dad, try it," you know. And I think my wife made a deal with my daughter. If my daughter watches ER, she'll watch Grey's Anatomy. But
Mm.
they got really interesting characters on them, and there's a few vets on there that got PTSD.
Mm.
So, but
That's always a fun one because they overdo it
I mean,
sometimes, and you're like, "Come on, bud."
each season is about 25 episodes, and they're about 45 minutes apiece. So you're gonna be there a while. But
I'm not.
oh, listen, you shut up. I have feelings too. If you cut me, I bleed.
Well, we'll see about that.
Oh my god.
So, like I was saying before, I joked about it, and then I felt like a dick for joking. For another and kind of showcase those because
Well,
those are some cool resources coming up these days.
and I think this is where we have to, us military people, have to help our families because they don't know. Not that any of us are experts, but we've all had lockdowns. So,
Yeah, we've all been in something similar to this, or at least trained for it, or and so at a minimum we can calm people down. Like my therapist called and they're like, "Oh, are you okay?" And like every time the VA calls, they're panicking. I'm like, "I'm fine." Like, because here's the secret: as somebody with PTSD, I'm finally right. Like
Yeah.
all those crazy feelings in my head, like when we're at the theme park and I'm like, oh my god, like, oh, it's happening now, so I feel justified and great and everything's groovy. I'm just as like I
Well,
feel
I think
good,
my moment
which is
for
creepy.
for um justification for PTSD was when the VA. I got my disability. What do they call it? Agreement or
Rating.
settlement or whatever that what
They give
thing
you
it is.
like a rating letter.
Yeah, and I was like, that was the moment where like I'm like, thank you. I'm
Right.
like, you know,
Because it's
uh,
crazy too. Because you spend like a year or two arguing with people, like you don't understand how useless I am to society. Because that's
well now
like
I got to go through and fill out for the unemployable whatever something or other.
individual unemployability.
Yeah,
That's a good thing to get a hold of.
because I have self isolated for a couple years now because I'm I not only cannot work with people, but I'm afraid I'm going to go to jail because I can't be
Yeah.
around people.
Dude, there was like my whole family are law enforcement, and for some reason I had a bug up my ass about cops, and I didn't leave the house for like a year just because I was like, I don't want to get pulled over and then maybe get into a fight with a cop,
Right, right. That's my thing, and
which
that's
is
why I'm
stupid.
always afraid. Like I'll only drive up at night to like the party store or something like that, something close,
Mm-hmm.
or to go to an appointment because I don't handle the stress. I guess like
Right.
normal people.
Well, and here's the
So
crazy thing about PTSD too, because we're both near albinos with handicap stickers on our plate. No one's pulling us over. We're not getting in fights with fucking like. But there's a thing in our head that like, because we know we can turn into the Hulk. That's why the Hulk fucking hides. It doesn't
yeah,
happen to him all day,
no,
but
I'm
when it does
serious.
happen,
I'm more afraid of going to jail than not having a job.
yeah,
Because and the thing is like I know it's like I'm there when it's happening, but I'm in the back and I can't say anything. I just got to write it out going, well, let's see where this goes to.
yeah. It's definitely a
And
backseat because that's like. Remember last season we talked about Maslow's hierarchy of needs and how like when
yeah,
you have your safety needs and your physiology or physiology then safety and then social and but anyway, so there's this tier to it, and so the part that allows you to be a nice person is way up at the top, and if any of those segments underneath it are unstable or not there, like ancient parts of yourself kick in because the human has never been there, but the gorilla has done this before, the fish has done this before, like all the
yeah.
other shit in our DNA is going, I got this one. Remember when we were a badger? I can handle this shit. And then you're in the corner doing this. And then all of a sudden you come back and you're like, what was that about?
I
Or
know.
I stutter a lot too because like when I'm trying to vocalize over the Hulk, I sound like the guy from Rain Man because it's so difficult for me to communicate over top of like Hulk smash, fuck you, and then other it gets
Well,
colorful.
mine is I got to run away while if somebody's confronting me on something and it can be something that they don't even know they said, and
Right.
it can be something innocent, and it can be the stupidest little thing in the world, and I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure out some triggers, but I'm like, bruh, and or I'll stand back and go, like, did they just say that to me? And that's what mine where I gotta catch myself and I gotta go, you gotta get out of this now. You gotta
Yeah.
leave now before I get the where my eyes get real squinty and go, all right, fucker.
Right. You start doing the
I gotta leave
predatory
before that
narrowing.
guy comes out. Because when that guy comes out, I'm going to jail.
Yeah. Because the other part too is you're not in control.
Right.
As much and it's
And
not
you can see that you're not in control and you know that you can't do anything.
right. Well, and here's the crazy part is the brass and steel and various other dense metal balls and ovaries on some of these civilian critters or just normal people because like there's all kinds of civilians who have terrible trauma and they go through this
Sure.
it feels 100% the same. Like you got diddled as a kid, feels the same as our shit. You got in a car accident, feels the same as our shit. So don't worry yourself about that. But the
Yeah, and
crazy
well,
part
I think
is
with
like the
military
oh sorry
with no, I'm sorry. I was like with military people, I think it's kind of we don't mean to do it, and I think once you understand the PTSD, once you really understand it, you don't measure it against somebody else's when you're not sure if you have it,
Right.
but you know somebody else does. Like you, if you were my gauge to say, okay, that's PTSD. So if I'm where he's at, and I'm like, well, I'm nowhere near as fucked up as Steve is.
Right.
I love you. I'm my own kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Well, and
but
that's the thing too is we're all the thing that set off our alarm was different, and so we're all going through this alarm procedure together. But
yeah,
the thing that and here's what's difficult when dealing with your family, or especially if you're in close quarters and you're not doing so hot, and all of a sudden you're having a little bit of a thing. Sometimes people will hold it against you for like, well, you should be able to control yourself. You're an adult. Well,
right,
that's the most useless statement anyone can make.
right.
It doesn't mean anything. You shouldn't be able. It's a thing that is, for the most part, very difficult to control. So if you're not controlling it, don't kick yourself in the ass. You should be take responsibility, I guess, because that's kind
No,
of.
absolutely. I mean,
But I mean, because there's a lot of times where I'll be in the fuck son of a goddamn. You know what? I'm real sorry. I'm just kind of losing my temper here. I'm gonna call you back. I shouldn't be saying this kind of shit, and I'm gonna need about a half hour. And then the person in the other line's like, all right. But then I call him back. I'm like, hey, sir, I was just having a thing. And then I like, you learn to catch yourself in it, and you learn to
right.
like grab the Hulk by the shoulder and
But
put him in the back seat.
that there could be, or there probably will be, that one time you don't catch yourself, that one time somebody catches you off guard, and you know how it is, with some accidents, it's a split second, and then I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
jail for 5, 7, 10 years or 30.
Well, and
And
then
that's my thing. I don't want to be like at a job. I don't want to be in charge of anybody because I don't want to be in charge.
you don't want the
If they get hurt,
responsibility.
I don't want the responsibility because if they get hurt, I know what hurt looks like. I know
Right.
what real hurt looks like.
And yeah, so you may
And I
not
know
have
what
as much
real
empathy or sympathy,
and I know
or
what real death looks like.
yeah, or you may
So
over empathize or sympathize. It's usually
right.
one or the other. Either you're like fuck you, or you're like oh my babies. It's we have one of
Yeah.
two reactions, kind of. But what was the?
Seven.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. The try it. Sorry, why am I crossing my arms? Is that a
This isn't my cat.
whose kitty cat is that?
She she was really cute. We get a lot of feral ones out here. But she came up to me while I had the dog, and I said, "Well, if a cat's going to come up to a human and a dog and be nice, because she's feral. She didn't come from another house.
Right, right.
So I let her in to come sleep and eat and stuff. And
I know. Yeah,
yeah,
you do a whole Doctor Doolittle thing.
yeah, I'm like the cat whisperer.
What was the? Oh, okay. So some like people who think they're normal or like haven't gone to therapy or whatever, they don't know that they also lose control of their own bodies numerous times a day. Everybody does this throughout the day.
Well, in the therapy, you got to get the right therapist because, especially
You
for,
gotta shop
I think,
around.
yeah, the military part, and
Find
I guess,
specialists. Find rape specialists. Find PT like
yeah,
military specialists. Find car
you
accident
got to
specialists.
jive with them too. Like I've had some that have been very nice, but I wasn't getting anything out of it. I have some that were awful fucking people, but I got stuff out of it.
And don't worry about hurting their feelings. Like they'll
I
just
know.
get another client. So it's like I
Like
gotta
I yelled
bail.
at one. I yelled at one. I said, I went through like 3 sessions with him, and I'm like, it's bullshit. I yelled at him. I'm like, I know more about you than you know about me. I said, I can tell you your kids' names. I said, I can tell you your wife's name. I can tell you when you got married. I can tell you, and I named all these things. And I was like, what can you tell me about me? He just
Mm-hmm.
kind of looked at me, and I was like, exactly. Have a nice day.
Yeah, bud. I'm out. Yeah, just
Yeah.
because they have the job doesn't mean they're good at it. There's
So you got to find
always
somebody you groove with. And my most favorite one was by Selfbridge, but she started getting a lot of us from Selfridge going there. So she started understanding what the military PTSD was.
Yeah, I went to a guy in Utica who I'm trying to Eric
Here,
Blumberg.
I'm gonna look mine up real quick, and she deserves a shout out. Let
Yeah,
me look
Eric
up.
Blumberg helped me out when I first was realizing what was going on. I just thought I couldn't sleep, and there was a whole mess of things happening.
Counselors in Mount Clemens, Michigan. Sorry, I'm using Google.
Dear robot, we're all using Google. Poor Google.
I'm plugged in,
What
and
happens when
no,
Google uses us? Dun, dun,
and there's no
dun.
unplugging.
Da, 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 da. So, our two viewers, are you enjoying our mild banter here? It's a little tame. We were gonna have Paul on today, but he had something pop up, so he'll be with us likely today's Sunday, so probably Wednesday if we can get Wednesday going again. And then we were gonna have Sam on. Couldn't get a hold of her though, but we knew her work schedule was kind of a thing. But Sam's fun. She was a Navy, I think diesel mechanic. I think that's what she was working on was diesel engines. I could
Really?
be 100% wrong, but that's what's in my head. But she's a fun one. Still believes in astrology. Sorry, Sam, but I don't.
Sorry. Perceptions Counseling out of Mount Clemens.
What's
Let
it
me
called
find
again?
Perceptions Counseling. Let me find that lady's name. She was really good.
Okay. These folks are probably not in the office right now, but I'll bet you a lot of them are doing telehealth and webcam kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you've got a
They're at
smartphone,
116 Market Street, Mount Clemens, Michigan.
okay. And then what was that called again?
Perceptions Counseling Services PC. They got like a shield with an eagle on the top of it.
Okay, so
It's just a
perceptions
little place, but
counseling.
um,
They've
the
dealt with
girl I went to, or the lady I went to, when you
human.
walk in, she's the first door on the right. I don't know her name,
Okay.
but everybody's nice there.
So they have some experience with Michigan Guard folks, and then Eric Blumberg, he's got experience with Michigan Guard folks. So that's cool. But yeah, whatever your freak of the week is, check out that specialist because there are people who specialize in whatever, for the most part, whatever your individual kind of what got you into this arena.
Oh, and before they go to, what a lot of these places are doing is you'll see a counselor first, and then you'll go like if you need meds, and then they'll send you to another doctor or whatever
Yeah,
to do
you'll
to
have
do the
two
med
separate
part of it.
people. You'll have like a talk therapy person, and then you'll have a medication person, and that's pretty much universal in most practices. It seems, in most large practices.
In the large ones, but out where I live, they don't do that. I mean, some of them in town will, but
Ooh, we got a pot question. What way are you guys consuming cannabis during this isolation? Uh,
duh.
I'm
Yeah.
getting it delivered. He's vaping. I am. I started when I'm
Yeah.
30, so you can't call me a juvenile, but I'm a big fan of the old water pipe mini bong kind of situation. Uh, just because that's me. What's your situation?
I got the vape because these last me about a week.
Really?
Yeah,
I get about
these caps
3 days.
maybe a little less depending, but
Mm,
yeah, about a week, and it's 35-40 bucks. Oh well, now it went up. It's 40 bucks. Platinum vape, do do.
hey
Um,
now.
it's it's pretty good.
I've been on a
I like the
flower.
gummies, but
The gummies are great. Um, it's Purple John, Purple Jack. I don't. Every person I talk to says a different, but I think it's Purple Jack. But it's really nice when it breaks up. It turns into like a lavender kind of color.
yeah,
And
I like Granddaddy Perp. That's my favorite.
yeah, that's a bit of a couch. I don't get a whole lot done on that one. I like to do blends because I do the indica's nice for the pain and for the mood, keeps me from going into Hulk mode. But the sativa allows me to like get off the couch after a minute. Like, I usually kind of zone out for about 20 minutes and then I'm up doing what I got to do.
If you go the pen route, you're going to need two pens because you're going to have to charge it, but they only take like 20 minutes to a half an hour to charge.
Yeah.
And then I would say switch between um, a couple flavors because when you get locked into a certain blend, it just kind of just makes you want to go to sleep after a while. It stops like, I don't know, you get used to it.
Yeah.
So like
You definitely have
alternate
to
blends.
experiment with it and figure out, you know, because like I found with vapes that it's the experience always sort of plateaus at a certain level, which is fine for the most part. But in some
I noticed
cases, like if
I
I'm
noticed
use
that when you got to drink water. If you're dehydrated, you can only get so high on these. But if you
interesting,
drink water, yeah, I figured that one out.
I haven't made that correlation.
Yep,
What do you think,
try.
Legal? Is that a thing? Maybe we'll have her chime in,
I, I've
Stacy.
I've proved it. I mean, to myself at least.
Right. Well, and that's
You
the thing
gotta,
too is like because there are so many variables going on. Like there's going to be so many anecdotes that prove true, but a lot of times they won't too. So it's a matter of like if you think it's safe to try, then give it a shot and try it. Like drinking more water while you smoke is not a bad idea in the first place. But like
no, I
yeah,
noticed that. Even the flower like you smoke. If I'm a little bit dehydrated, I can only get so high. And I'm not trying to get, and I'm never trying to get blitzed out of my mind. I mean, unless I'm having like a panic attack or something. But this is just regulator. Because I do this to do every day, just to keep the calm. I
yeah.
mean, I don't sit and toke on this like a lot,
I hit it
but
3 times a day. I do it in the morning to get my because I wake up angry because I have such wonderful sleep. I wake up like so it helps with that, and then also I'm super nauseous because I have a nervous stomach. So I've been being chased by demons, and now my tummy hurts, and I can't eat or take my pills. Otherwise, I'll throw them up. So in order to take my morning dose, I gotta hit it a little bit, do that for a second, and then all of a sudden I'm less angry. I can eat, have a bowl of cereal or a chocolate milk or something just to get the pills down. And then, luckily, I only take 4 pills in the morning now instead of, I think the most was like 28, which was, that was, I can't believe a doctor did that on purpose.
every day I was taking $32,000 worth of crap or
Yeah,
prescription medicine.
I was taking less illegal drugs than the legal drugs. I was like the Vicodin I bought was not as much as the shit they were giving me. I only bought it because my roommate stole mine and I needed some to get me through the rest of the month, or so
Oh,
I thought.
for the vets out there too, everything, the dosages are not created equal. So,
Yeah. Well, okay. So here's another question: if we're home alone, so I've been calling Midwest Relief, not a plug, but I like them and they help me out. I don't have their number because, like I said, not a plug, but look them up. They deliver, and there's a lot of delivery services throughout the state, and they're working. I talked to some of those folks on the phone about what they were doing, and uh, they're doing the best they can. They don't
well,
have full mop plans or anything, but
out
they're
by me, you can either have it delivered or
mhm.
you can go on the app, send an order, and then park outside. And then the app will let you know when your order's ready. And then somebody will come out like, at Sonic or like A&W back in the old days and bring your pot out to you.
Yeah, I think a lot
And
of dispensaries are going that route too. If they're not doing delivery, they're going to do curbside. Which hey now, and then so another option too is because a lot of times a lot of people like that.
oh, Pure Lapeer in Lapeer, there's an army guy that's one of the owners.
Hey now,
And then right down from Pure Lapeer, they can get you your medical card.
hey now.
I forget the name of it, but yeah, plug for Pure Lapeer.
Do you still need a medical card these days because
As
of the law?
well, as far as I know, there, and I haven't checked, but
Mm-hmm.
the last I knew there was only two in Ann Arbor that could sell to the general public.
Okay, so so you'd have to check. Well, yeah, and I mean, it's worth having your medical card. I think.
If you go to another state and if you go to another state and they accept medical cards from another state, I mean, you should have it just
Yeah,
because.
because I
If
think you
anything
can vape in
happens where they're
Ohio.
like, yeah, you know what? There's too many people on drugs out here. We're gonna repeal the law. Be like, fuck you. I got a license.
Yeah, yeah, it's not a bad idea. And then a lot of delivery places will ask for your card or something like that.
Yeah,
And it's
and you
just
can
good
load
for
it
record.
into weed maps. So, like, if you wanna, on the app I ordered stuff, it asked me to take a picture of my driver's license and my weed card. So
So if there was a dispensary that like, so on their website, it's got their hours and it's got their curbside pickup, but then it's also got a box that says like, click here to chat with one of our bud tenders, and like, cause you got questions or something. So rather than calling, do you think? I think that might be cool doing a video chat.
well, okay,
Like,
here's the thing that sucks about this though, is like
mhm.
if someone's new and getting into this, they gotta go by what John Smith and Jane Doe say
Right?
is cool.
They're going
Like
off.
I liked going in, and they'll still if you wave them down when they're in the parking lot, they'll
Mhm.
you can talk to them. But
Yeah. Well, I think they're talking about. Ooh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Recreational business expansion in general is not going to do so well in this time period. So getting your med card is probably a good idea.
yeah,
But yeah, it'd probably be awesome. Like if you had, because like when I call my delivery folks, Midwest Relief, like whether it's part of the plan or not, I talk to them for a good 15, 20 minutes about what you got going, what's going here, what's going there. Um, but I would definitely recommend kind of having like a Google Hangouts or some kind of video chat way because you do need guidance in this. This isn't something to just jump
right.
into
And
if you
and
go
I
that
had to
route.
figure it all out. Like most people don't even know there's three types of weed:
Right.
indica, sativa, and hybrid. All this other stuff. So
And yeah, and so like it'd be a good idea to have somebody like walk you through the process and say, hey, here's this, here's that. This
right.
is what that's gonna do. Because I mean, you could call us, but like, not really. We're
But
not the
I can.
experts.
I mean, I could build a great. Um, Actually, that might be a thing. But I have a
Sit down, son.
Pelican case that I keep all my stuff in, and I know some blends are good for headaches, and I know some blends are good for me getting to sleep, and I know so like get a Pelican case and like have like I don't know an eighth or a quarter of each one go have it labeled headaches, have it labeled sleep, have it
Yeah.
labeled upset stomach, have it
Because it's a good idea to have a journal going, or if
right.
you're good at
Yeah,
just remembering stuff, remember it. But you know, because the information out there is still so wild westy, like it's a good idea to just keep track. I mean, it's a good idea to keep track of your health, just period.
people like you like sativa. You have PTSD and you like sativa.
Mm-hmm.
Where I can't have it. It'll give me a panic attack for 3 or 4 hours. I
Right.
absolutely cannot have.
But I've gotten over panic attacks, which is like I can have a panic attack without engaging it, and I've done that on a sativa. And so I utilized a sativa to induce a panic attack, and basically I jumped on the bull rather than getting hit by the bull. And then I
Yeah.
rode it and so I'm not recommending this because it was a terrifying experience, but I'm saying
You got to
if
really want sativa.
if you want to shake the ghost of anxiety off your back, like just jump on it and ride it till ride it into the ground. And so what I did is a little risky, but I induced a panic attack because I felt my heart rate kicking in, and then I was just like, "What if I die?" And then I just started like,
We are deployed from Detroit are not doctors and do not recommend any of this. Please consult your physician before trying anything stupid.
consult your physician, shaman, somebody besides us on all medical and what have you.
Oh, but
But yeah,
yeah,
I sat there and just was like, ah.
like I can't even have like the hybrids. I can't go over like a 25-75 mix, like 75% indica.
Yeah, dude, we're
I,
gonna go. We're gonna find you some like crazy banana stuff. We're gonna like find some aloe plant in Mexico that like makes you see jaguars that tell you it's okay, and then
like people that actually need this, they're friends, and friends mess with people, but the people that really need it, they're like, here, take this, and then they've never had it before and they have a bad trip because you
Yeah.
lose control. And most people, when you lose, they don't lose. Yeah, you lose control.
Indica's a
And
good starter weed because it's a giggle inducer. It makes music wonderful. Uh,
food is awesome.
you're gonna be super relaxed. You're just gonna kind of melt. Like if you've
But
ever seen a pothead sort of like just doing one of these numbers, like you know, that's indica. That's
easy
indica.
going, man.
But then they're like da 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 da. That's sativa. And
Yeah,
then
that's the. I should buy a boat.
yeah,
Questions? Questions?
yeah, that's when you get a text from me at 3 in the morning going, "You guys want to start a business?" And we
Yeah, I've been thinking
did.
about this a lot, and it's really cool. Fuck that, man.
Yeah, there and again, if you're so let's reel it back in because I mean, if you think about what's going to get you through this is like it's going to be your health, it's going to be your hygiene, which is part of your health, like
Yeah.
cleaning yourself or doing your lawn. Like my dryer's busted, and so I'm on. Although I'll tell you what, for being the last shirt in my closet, pretty snappy.
I like it.
But then tomorrow I'm going to be wearing bed sheets or something until I find a place to run up. My washing machine still works, so I'll just find a
You got some
place.
paracord and string this shit up across the living room and put
Yep,
a clothing line out.
that's 100% what I'm doing. I got some 550 in the basement. Run that through, tire it
Now,
up.
see, you, me, and every other person that's ever been in the military go, yeah, it seems legit. If I were to do that, my wife would go, "What in the fuck are you doing?" I'm like,
Right.
it serves a purpose. What's wrong with this? It works.
Yeah. And it's always like it's already a back pocket kind of thing. Like I don't hoard. I do buy two of everything just because I have like a weird. That's just a weird quirk of mine. Like if I'm buying Pop Tarts, I buy
Don't do
two
anything.
packets,
Yeah.
and if I buy Dr Peppers, I get two of them. If I get water, I get like. So I have like two masks, and then I also forget shit sometimes. So then I have four of a few things here and there. Um, what the hell was the point of that?
I'm really not sure, but I like where
Yeah,
you're going.
it was starting to head somewhere
It
probably
stopped
cool.
abruptly. I'm going to tell you, if you start a story like that, you need to finish because I was on the edge of my seat.
Really? I don't even remember the start of it. Wasn't when I
I
got
don't even remember what you said by now.
being crazy is kind of fun. Um, yeah. Oh, hygiene, health, and having a hobby too, and like having fun. Taking like, yes, this sucks, but don't make it suck any more than it's going to. Like it's gonna suck a ton
Hey,
all on its own.
PTSD, we have a hard time taking showers, not taking them, getting
Getting
up to
into
go
the
take them.
yeah. In the shower's fine. I have a chair in there just so it's easy, and also because I walk like a baby deer. So let's not do like how many people die in their own shower? Most of them.
If they died in their own shower, then all of them.
Yeah. Whip. I
Like
was
the dad joke when you drive by a graveyard. You know how many people are dead in there? No, how many? All of them.
dude. I love answers like that. What was? Never mind. But yeah.
See, here's the time to get your family talk about what grandma and grandpa used to or were like, or great grandma and grandpa. Put a little family history in there. Maybe
Yeah.
make a family tree with the kids. Go, oh, auntie whatever was married to this guy, but now she's married to this guy, and you got these cousins.
Yeah. That's
You know,
always because my family history is crazy, and it seems like most family histories are pretty crazy. Like I've got the McCoy
which you
Hatfield
would think
feud.
yours is would be pretty simple since inbreeding was a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I've got some pretty straight branches on my family tree in a couple
It's a
spots.
all right.
The McCoy, Randall McCoy and Sarah McCoy, his wife, were first cousins.
Mm.
Blood in, blood out, yo.
If she ain't good enough for her own paw, I don't want her.
Oh yeah, buying two. What was the buying?
Oh yeah, buy two of everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Where was that going?
I don't know. Had something to do. Because we were talking about like preparing yourselves and be confident in like the folks on TV are pretty accurate when they say if you stay home and wash your hands after you touch stuff that you're not sure where it's been, then you should be pretty much okay. And as long as you're not making out with somebody who's coughing, you should be okay. And so there's a lot of things you can do
For
to,
licking toilet seats, that was a thing for a
yeah,
while.
those fucking, thank God they got it. Just the instant karma,
I love that. There's a population density right now, and those are the first that should go.
New parking spot. Well, unfortunately, those young assholes will live through this, but they'll just have like COPD and they'll
Well,
have the luxury of
or
my
yeah, for
lungs
this
without my
virus, they
smoke
probably
going in.
passed it on to 400 people before they
Right.
got sick.
Well, I saw something where there was heat maps of. I don't have the link to it, and I don't feel like looking for it, but it's out there. But it just demonstrated that like a lot of the spread started after those assholes came back from spring break, and like it was spreading before that, but like they sure as
Oh,
hell didn't help. Is basically what the numbers are showing.
Jesus Christ! Who goes to over there for fucking spring break? How much is that fucking plane ticket?
Dude, I don't know. People are nutty. I don't. There's. I don't understand the.
Here's an honest answer for
Yeah.
when you come back and you're like, oh, I fought for every American and freedom. Yeah, I fought for freedom. Yeah, I fought for every American, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
When I see fucking retards like some of these people buying all the fucking toilet paper and licking toilet seats, I didn't do that for you.
Yeah, that's
And
not
you
what
make me sad that I had to go over there at all.
that's not what we buried our friends for, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. I mean, I go, it's for my family. They're safe, good.
Yeah, I fought just so kids could smoke cigarettes at Village Place. That's why I enlisted. Just like for freedom's sake, to do good things with freedom. But I mean, there's so many people doing a lot of good stuff too. There's a lot of people getting into the soup kitchen business, like we're talking about. There's a lot of people just seeing where they can help, and I think that's another thing too. Is if you're stuck, that one thing about being stuck or claustrophobic, um, is it sort of implies that like you aren't able to do anything. Like you don't have control. Like you can't make any decisions that are gonna make a difference in what's going on. Uh, but you totally can. You can have goals and get yourself through this just the same as. Because my simple plan is like, all right, what does it look like when I don't get COVID disease or this whatever the hell the coronavirus? It looks like me washing my hands when I'm supposed to, and just following the instructions and guidance that the government's published and that local agencies are putting out there. That's what it looks like. So it's pretty easy for me to see myself getting through this. That's not a problem. And then even if I do catch it, what's it look like if I do catch it? Well, your lungs fill up with boogers. They put a tube in your throat. You hope you live, but you might not. So lay back, take the tube. Hopefully they got TV on. Catch up with your Law and Order. That's pretty much all I ever do in a hospital.
Grey's Anatomy.
Well, there you go. And then hope you don't die. But those are my two scenarios, and I see how they kind of end, and I've got a goal. I know where I'm headed at least. I know what I'd like to avoid, and what I'd like to achieve. And if you're claustrophobic, and if you're paranoid, or if you're just sick of being in there, you getting out into the community and expressing your will that way and helping other people, that's where your real power comes. Like all the suffering you've endured is just to make you an expert in that kind of suffering. And so now you can go use all that knowledge you have on what it's like to be bummed out because you're all alone or whatever the hell your individual quirk is, that it's now your sort of superpower that you can share with the rest of us. And so many people need help and so many people need you. And if you can give of yourself, your uniqueness, then we'll get through this just fine. There's going to be sad times ahead, but if each of us just, tries a little bit, it makes a huge impact.
Each of us tries a little bit when we say try, by doing absolutely nothing and staying home.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do.
Which this is
Nothing.
pretty easy. You don't have to do push-ups. I mean, you could do push-ups. It's not a bad time to
This is
start.
this is like Office Space. What would you do if you won $1 million? I would do absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is it.
Dude, and yeah, there is hardship ahead. A lot of us don't know if we got jobs coming up ahead, or uh, food's going to be a problem. I'll stop saying pretty soon here in a second, but the so much more is coming, and so much more is going to be asked of us, and we can say as a couple of old pros here that like this ain't nothing. At least this one's like it sucks that it's silent, but at least it's quiet. Beats the shit out of stuff blowing up.
Yeah.
That's a bonus. So
Well, and we know why we're staying in. We know
Right.
why we're doing it on this one.
it's a sniper we can't see, but we can sure as hell dodge their bullet.
Yeah.
Or you can at least try your best, because if you gotta, okay, so some of us, because here's the problem. Let's say we want to go to the grocery store because we need to get our groceries and all that, and we're sitting in the parking lot, terrified, trembling, because if I go in there, I'm for sure gonna get it. You're not for sure gonna get it. It's the same, you have to be more alert than you do in your home, but you take the same precautions. You don't shove it into your holes. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your hair.
It should be on a shirt. Don't shove it into your holes.
I saw one of the, what's that doctor show where all them sexy doctors talk about your health? There was one of the young sexy male doctors gave a good tip where he's like, you know what I do? I do this. And I was like, no shit, bro. Good move. And it's not a bad idea. He takes the inside of his shirt because it's less likely to be exposed to the environment.
Uh-huh.
Scratches his eye with it.
Oh, yeah.
So I started doing that. I was like, I'll steal that tip. There's, you can do the whole. When I'm cooking, like, ask your friend who's a cook how they scratch their face when they're on shift. If they're a good cook, they'll have a technique that doesn't involve their damn fingers. But usually it's some of this kind of stuff. There's a lot of like weird moves you do. But when you're cooking, it's the same kind of situation where you want to make sure you're not getting your face particles onto the food particles. And in this case, you're trying not to get the flu particles onto your face particles. So it's same maneuver, just different vector. Victor?
What's your vector, Victor? I was just going to say. Ah!
You like movies with gladiators in them?
Okay, so let's talk about some fun stuff. What's
Yeah.
some fun stuff you've done on a deployment now that we're out? And
So the first time I ever got a massage was a bit embarrassing. And so my buddy Ray, the whole time, he's like, there's this masseuse on base and you should get it checked out. I'm like, oh, that's terrific. And we're like halfway through the deployment, and he keeps telling me that it's like a jerk-off shack. And I'm like, I'm not going to get jerked off by a stranger. And he's like, well, whatever, you're missing out. And then, so he finally convinces me to go. Like, it's 6 months in, or not 6, it's like 4 months in. He's talked me into going. And then I'm listening to his fucking advice because he's my buddy. And so I'm naked under the towel. And the masseuse comes in and she lifts it. She goes, and then, no. And she tells me to put all my clothes on this set. And then I hear him fucking laughing from the other end. And no, it's on base. Of course it's not a jerk. These are licensed, these are nice, respectable young ladies. And they just saw my pale, milky marshmallow rolled on a cat hair ass. And they're fucking devastated. And I was like, well, But after that, I was like, you know what? Massages aren't bad. I might do this more when I get back home.
That's
Ray,
funny.
you bastard.
I don't know if I told my Germany one on there.
Best dollar you ever spent?
No, first time over to Germany, we were there for 2 weeks, and for some deployment, and the high up stayed on base at Bitburg, and we had to stay. It was like 18 miles away. We had to take a shuttle. Is
Space
where
shuttle?
like, huh?
Sorry. Space shuttle.
Yeah, space shuttle. But
Viva takes a shuttle.
that's where everybody on base lived in all this housing.
Oh yeah,
So
they have separate.
you could walk into town from there. The town of Bitburg was right there,
How big a town?
and you could walk right in. And so we didn't know. I mean, a lot of us have never been over to Europe at all, and we're just walking on the sidewalk. There's probably, I'd say, a good 20 of us, and cars are drifting like in like Tokyo Drift and all that, and racing and shit. And I didn't feel good on the sidewalk. So over in Germany, they have like our Budweiser signs. They have their signs for the beer for the region, and obviously theirs was Bitburg, so it's Bitburger beer. So we saw a house with Bitburger on the outside. So we go into the house, all 20 of us, and we sit down at the bar and we all order, and then we're looking around and we're seeing all naked and half naked women everywhere. We're like, we're in a whorehouse. It's legal in Germany. We were not debriefed. So anyway, after we drank our beer, half of us left.
So you're like, well, it'd be rude not to see what they have, I guess.
Hey, I was married, so all the single guys were like, have at it.
Mm.
Oh, we had one guy, I loved him so much. He was Asian, and he said, I heard from one of the other guys tell the story, and I don't know if it's true or not, and I'm not saying names, but he goes, I never had sex with a white woman. So I guess everybody got a pool together of money, and they paid for him to get a white woman and then something else he wanted, and they went on. And they said when he walked
Can I get
down
a white
from
lady and is that a Jamaican? Jamaican? Bahama. I'll take that.
When
Yeah,
he walked down, it must have been the funniest thing in the world. They're like, we all started clapping. It's like you would see it in some Top Gun movie or something.
You're like, let me see this ID card. You ain't
But
no
anyway,
5'5".
so the 10 of us go off to go find another bar.
Mm-hmm. With less
And
prostitutes.
in the strip mall is another Bitburg sign. So we go in there. It's a specific Asian only whorehouse or brothel or whatever.
Like the ladies are Asian or the customers are Asian only? Or is it
All
like
the ladies are Asian. So, all the guys are clients.
does
So
Bitburg just mean prostitute?
yeah, it was all Asian girl prostitutes. So half of us left there. No, actually, there was 3 of us at the end of the night. Me and 2 of the brothers, and they were big guys too. So they kept me safe.
Chairman's like, oh, fuck's this.
We ever fuck the American? But so we found a bar called Coyote, and then we finished out the night there. But God, I was like, is there just a bar in here where there's no prostitute? But I hear like
is it like trying to find a bar where they don't smoke? You're like, I can't find a bar without hookers. This is fucking ridiculous.
oh, we went to Cologne, Germany.
Did they have cologne there?
And it was all the girls were hot. I'm like, are we on some weird fucking other planet? I'm like, every girl is hot here. I'm like, even the really big girls are hot.
Yeah, dude, the rest of the world is an alien planet. It's
Yeah.
actually, America's the alien planet. You kind of find out because like we're walking around the place smiling, and then the rest of the world's like, what the fuck is their deal? And we're like, dee 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 dee, life is great. Yeah, and then they're like, so you guys haven't had to sit in a room with your dead parents for a year? You're like, wait, what? That's a thing? Yeah, they didn't have enough room at the. Anyway, your childhood. Anyway, that's a story for another day. But, well, I don't know. I think this is giving Americans some perspective. Like, the ones who are paying attention and seeing how much... I think people are understanding that, like, this thing doesn't care. And, just like a bus could come get you any moment, so could these, so could this thing. And I do kind of hope people take perspective from it. It's not fair, but life ain't fair. And so we can at least take advantage of the fact that,
Well,
there's lots
I
to be
think
learned.
this is like like the lotto, where most people aren't going to pay attention to it until the dead numbers get higher.
Unfortunately, and we're already because I mean, like I said, there's 132 fatalities in Michigan, and then worldwide, we're currently looking at 33,952 deaths at an 18% fatality rate currently.
From when to when? What time span? How many months?
That is from the beginning of the outbreak in January, or sorry, let me show this graph. February 2nd.
Okay. So February 2nd till now, there's how many deaths?
33,956.
And for does it have what the flu is? The numbers from the regular flu? Because when they were first talking, they're like, it's just the flu, you know?
Yeah, and then they're all like, 800 million people die from the flu every year. Like, I don't think that's true. I think that would be in the newspapers, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well,
So,
you
wait,
think
there's
the war would still be in newspapers, but that's not anyway.
24,000 people, 24,000 to 62,000 people die from the flu annually. So, we have already beat those numbers.
Right.
We've already beat flu numbers as far as fatality goes on the low
And
end.
that was for the year, right?
Correct. And this has been 2 months, 3 months, 2 months, couple of
Yeah.
months. Well, I guess 5 months since this is including when it broke out in China as well. So this is a 5 month total. So yeah, the flu kills 26,000 people a year. This thing's killed about 34,000 people in the past 3 to 4 months, 4 to 5 months. So this thing's gonna do a number on us. This will not. This is gonna leave a permanent mark on our
And so it's gonna get over the the 100,000 mark.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people are starting to understand how much of this is in their own hands, and that they need to uh, get.
Got to keep them separated.
Yeah. Good Lord, my brain is falling apart sometimes today. I'm
Right,
there and I'm
man.
not.
Why don't we cut this? Because we're just kind of mumbling now.
Yeah, we're getting kind of tired and tuckered out, and we appreciate. We've had Legally Nifty. That's our buddy, secret person. We'll see if she wants her name out later, but she's going to be helping us with our marketing and getting our name out there, so we're not just the three of us hanging out as we are usually. Even though it's fun, I still do it anyway. You still do it anyway. We all still do it anyway.
We need some new blood.
We need some new blood. We need to. We're trying things out. We're experimenting. We've got a lot going on with the Chow Hall idea we talked about last time, where we're still dreaming it up, and we're just getting more people involved in the dream right now as far as what kind of facility we're going to get, what kind of vehicles we're going to get. But ultimately, we're still we do this podcast in addition to whatever else we think needs to get done. And so we think this Chow Hall needs to get built because there's going to be a whole mess of people without food, without housing, without a whole bunch of stuff. And we've built that for people. So we can do it again. That ain't difficult for us. But we'll keep you appraised, or what's the word on that? We'll keep you informed as we go through that process, because we want to make sure, and this is kind of important too. The bigger ideas, the grander ideas. I mean, any of this stuff it should be stolen. Steal our ideas, do our ideas better than we do them. Because we've said this before and we'll say it again. It's not important that we do this. It's just important that this stuff gets done. And so you can help us, or you can go ahead and do it yourself, and we'll do what we can to help you get your own missions executed. Because that's the kind of phase we're in right now. This is definitely a war, and we looked out and started ourselves an army just beforehand. So I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
So we'll be back on Wednesday. I think we should probably do a movie night. I think let's talk. we'll talk offline and discuss what movie it is. But we always have a good time with that, and maybe we'll
Yeah.
get some guests on as well. If you guys have a suggestion for the movie night, you can, let's say, dfd.slm@deployedfromdetroit.com is the email address for the show. And shoot us a suggestion of a book. If you want us to go through an audiobook or I guess just a book, whatever. But we've talked about the movie Ender's Game. We can go into the Ender's Game books. We can, whatever you're kind of interested in. Where we find advantage in talking about these books and movies and stories is we've lived a lot of these things or know people who have, and we can kind of give context to the those adventures because, like we saw in when we did movie night for Fury, um, that movie's about everybody who ever went, and
Hey, brother.
I know.
Not to cut you short, but I gotta leave this conversation, sir.
All right, so give us your suggestions at dfd.slm@deployedfromdetroit.com. We know we ramble, we know we're crazy, but that's part of the fun. If there's anything specifically you'd like to hear from us, how do you do this? How do you do that? Da 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 da. We're not 100% an advice show, but well, at least let you know how we get through or how we've gotten through because
Yeah.
we'd like to think of ourselves as an educational platform more than just a chatty bunch of what have yous. So join us. I think we'll do Sundays and Wednesdays until we decide not to. But until then, I've been Steve,
And I'm Iggy.
and we'll see you guys when we see you. We love the fuck out of you, so go have some fun. All right.
Take
We're
it
off.
easy, miss you already.
Love you. Love you.